Welcome back to my channel. I'm back from Paris and I've got an unboxing for you. A Goyard unboxing. When I tell you the amount of people that reached out to me on Instagram, which my handle I'll throw up on the screen, asking, oh my gosh, you're Emily in Paris. Yes, my name is Emily. I was in Paris. I will be Emily in Paris again many times. Not to throw shade, because I do actually very much enjoy that show, but like, throw it in the comments below if you also enjoy an Emily in Paris moment. But for this video, we will be having my Emily in Paris moment. I've got a story time for you that goes along with this unboxing, so I'm gonna unbox probably halfway through the story. But the story is important, and I feel like it is more impactful to hear the story and then see what I got. Also, since it's a story time, go grab a cup of coffee, a tea, hydrate, or your girl's got a little rosé for you. I don't know why, but whenever I have wine on here, people like lose it. They're like, yes, girl, get yours. Thank you. Cheers to you. So I went to their original store on the Champs-Elysees, and the line was aggressive. When I tell you aggressive, I mean in two ways. First thing is it wrapped around itself, and trusting a bunch of luxury-driven tourists to man a line appropriately is like watching somebody not like tame the lions at the circus. So they have a person that stands out there and kind of corrals everyone, figures out what they want, etc. So as I'm standing in line waiting, there is a gentleman who comes out in a full-on tuxedo with tails and is asking everybody who joins the line, what is it that you're here for? What are you looking for? And I thought to myself, like, okay, this is nice. They're like asking what you want so that you don't have to wait in this long line as you would at Louis Vuitton across the street, for example. And if they don't have it, they don't have it. Well, it turns out they didn't have a lot of things, and the stock situation is just as grim in Europe as it is in the States. For those of you who have not watched me before, I do luxury unboxings, try my hand at some vlogs, and I live in Southern California, so that's primarily where I end up shopping, but for the purposes of the next few videos I will be filming, it's Emily in Paris all the way. So essentially, I get in line. The line is long. The man asks me what I want. I was looking for a few men's wallets for friends, and then the item that is right here, a vanity case. And he says, oh, we're all out of men's wallets, but we do have vanity cases. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay the course. I'm gonna stay in this line. And he proceeds to ask the people behind me whatever. The line does not move, like does not move. My friend who I was traveling with wanted to go to Louis Vuitton, so we went ahead and jumped the line, and I was like, whatever, if the line when we come out is shorter, I'll come back. If not, wasn't meant to be. We go in, we managed to get through the line of Louis Vuitton in and out of the store, and the line has substantially gone down. Like, okay, cool, it's almost 6 p.m. People are, I think, closing up shop for the day. We get in to the line for Goyard, and the gentleman comes back out. He goes, oh, I remember you guys. I remember we still have the vanity case. And then he puts up a rope behind us. He's like, you're the last clients for the day. I'm like, okay, cool, cool. We managed to skip waiting in this aggressive line, already went to Louis Vuitton, and now we're here. Mission accomplished. This woman comes up behind us in the line that he had closed and put the little velvet rope up for. And he's like, Madame, I'm so sorry, like the line is closed. She's like, I was here earlier and I was in front of them in the line before. You have to let me in. And I think I mean, like, I do not envy that man's job. It is tough. Also, sorry if the lighting is changing. It's a very cloudy, strange weather day in LA. So we've got partial sun, partial rain. I'm not really sure. Slight monsoon moment, but try to ignore it. Story time continues. So the guy finally says, okay, we'll accept, you will be the last person, to this woman behind us. And he's like, what do you want? She's like, I want a vanity case. Shows him the picture. He goes, oh, well, we only have one left. and this nice lady in front of you also wants the same thing, so if she doesn't take it, you can have it. And I was like, oh, that is tough. Like, you're going to a luxury shopping experience and the person is kind of like, you can have her leftovers if she doesn't want them. Tough. Also, you have like no color choices, what have you. So we stand in line probably for another 20 minutes. It's like 6:30 at this point. They're meant to close at 7 p.m. And the guy comes out again and says, just kidding, we found another one. We have 2 vanity cases, madame. So whatever one she, meaning me, doesn't pick, you can have. And she's like, okay. And like when I tell you, like this lady's looking at me, I'm looking at her, and I'm just like, it's not that I want to deprive you of your vanity case, but I'm also in line. But she was also like pretty rude to the man in the line, and so I kind of like, I didn't really have a ton of sympathy for her because of how rude she was to him when she was like trying to aggressively get in the line. I digress. It's like, luxury is a dog-eat-dog world. Anyone who shops at Hermes knows. We finally get let in. It's like 6:40 at this time. And the sales associate we are assigned to asks me what colors I'm interested for the vanity case. And I was like, well, what do you have? Could I see what you have? Because in my head I'm thinking, okay, this is like very limited. So like if it's, I wanted, maroon was my first choice. I like their red, I like their orange, I like their yellow, I like their green. I'm not a big fan of like the black and tan. I feel like Goyard has such beautiful colors. That was like what I wanted to do. So I asked him, I was like, well, can I see what you have? Because I don't, you know, I'm not, like, I'm open to a lot of colors, but there's really like only a couple things I don't really want. Didn't want the white either, because if you're gonna be putting a bunch of makeup around it, recipe for disaster. And he looks at me like confused. At this point, the man who has ushered us in and had been telling us this whole time, we don't have stock, whatever, is standing very near me. And the other woman behind me in the line, who's like the last person, is still waiting out there, outside. I feel him like creeping closer, and I'm just like, what is going on? And the sales associate says to me, Madame, I cannot bring them out in every color because there's so many colors we have. And I was like, huh? I thought you only had 2 left. I didn't say that. That's like in my head, my reaction. And he's like, we have them in every color. Like, what do you want? What are your top 3? And I'm like, this man. And so I look over, and the guy who had been like telling us like, you know, how many they had, whatever, was like, will that do for you, madame? And I was like, yes, oui, way. And keep in mind, he never told me how many they had. He just said, yes, we have it. And then when the other woman in line came, he's like, there's only 1 left, and if she gets, so he was like kind of presumably trying to get rid of her. But then of course I heard their conversation, so he just didn't bother to correct to me, she would have heard. It's just a very bizarre situation. And so he gives me this cheeky little smile, and I'm just like, oh, you were telling that lady you only had 1 left because you were trying to get rid of her because she was mean to you. Do not envy that man's job. The people in line were awful to him as I was like standing there watching people come and go. It's just like, why is it that people who love to buy luxury things sometimes act so entitled in like store settings? I will never understand it. I get that like traveling is stressful and like it was hot, whatever, but like just human decency should kind of always be your default in those situations. And so many times have I witnessed someone just being like absolutely terrible. Anywho, so the guy, I tell him I like reds and green. Those are like my tippity top. He spreads out 3 vanity cases in front of me. One of which is this little guy. I show you. Oh, we've got receipts in here. Don't need to pull those out. Oh. Okay. So we've got the little vanity bag in the bright red is what I ended up going with, not the maroon color. I need to learn more about Goyard. I don't, in truth, know a ton about it, but I'm inevitably going to go down a whole YouTube rabbit hole after I record this video. But it's super cute. You did have the option of buying a strap to go with it, and the strap was like 400 euros. I was not going to be doing that because I feel like 400 euros is still a lot, even with like parity right now. For those of you who do not know, the euro is essentially like just a smidgen lower than the dollar right now, so it's like even better than parity. And I loved every minute of that in Paris, let me tell you, because when you go over to Paris, everything's already cheaper. So this was 1,390 euros, so almost exactly $1,390. Plus I will get 12% of that back with VAT eventually. It's super roomy inside. You've got your little spot for brushes. This mirror does come out. It's got like a little, if I can show you, like a little pouch in the front to put things, and a leather tab. It's just very well made. And for perspective, I have no idea what it sells for in the US, but I imagine it's more expensive than this. There is a Louis Vuitton version of the same thing that I think retails in, I looked at it in Europe, in France, and it was around 830 euros. I just thought everyone has that one. And no shade if you have it, I love it too. I almost bought it, but I thought, you know what, like I'd like to get something a little bit different. And to add to my, I wanted to start my Goyard collection, so I thought this would be like a really durable way to do it. I will never wear this as a bag. This will always just be what I travel with. It'll have a special memory attached to it that I got it in Paris at my first trip to Goyard, and the store, I'll try to insert some footage of the store, but it was just gorgeous. Everything's like mahogany. They still do the bookkeeping like they did back in the day, which is like a fun detail. So yeah, it's gonna sit right there for the rest of the video. And I love their dust bags, are very bright, like their DNA. Oh, doggy sounds. Hey, no more doggy sounds, thank you. Anyway, let's go back to, lest we forget, our lady in the back of the line. I'm standing there at the counter with this option, the maroon option, and a dark green option in front of me. She walks in and she sees the 3 vanity bags sitting in front of me. Remember, she was told there's only, first she was told there's only 1 left, then she was told there's 2 left. And I was told, Madame, we have them in all colors. So she walks in, she sees that, and when I tell you she screamed, like a grown woman is like acting like a total fool in the store. And I just couldn't believe the response. She's asking to see the manager. I'm like standing there and she asked me, she's like, are you buying all of those? And part of me wanted to buy all of them just for spite, because like she was so nasty. But I was like, no, just one. You will have your pick. And the way that Goyard works is they take like kind of a long time to call you up. They'll do your VAT refund for you in store. Like they don't process the refund for you, but they set up all your paperwork, what have you. So it takes a minute. They kind of operate in the same way that they did, I think, back in the day. So at least that's what my sales associate told me. So I'm sitting there waiting for my name to be called to go cash out, and I'm like listening to her like lose it. She's asking for different options. She's asking her for her friends can now come and buy them. The poor guy at the door is like beside himself, because at this point it's after 7 o'clock, like they're just trying to close. And so I don't actually know what decision she went with. Sad times. We'll never know the end to that story, because I went my merry way after I paid. But the ruckus that ensued was just like, I was embarrassed on her behalf. And so what is the takeaway, folks? Like, can we just act like normal, civilized human beings when we're going shopping in a luxury setting? And for anyone who comes at me for having ice in my rosé, I was just in Paris, the land of amazing wine. It was hot, and you want to know what they served the rosé with on the little streets? Ice. So sit yourself down. You can put ice in your rosé. If the French do it, sign me up. Also, don't forget to comment below if there's anything from Goyard that you've been lusting after, or anything that you're maybe wondering how much it was in Europe because I did take a lot of sneaky photos of like what things were priced at. A lot of places in Europe do have the little card in front of items that are on display to tell you how much they are, which is nice, and why does the US not do that? But if you're thinking, ooh, I wonder if it's worth it, like should I stop by, I can hopefully help you on your quest in Europe. Okay, I think that's the whole story. Short and sweet, but I just couldn't not share it with you because it was so ridiculous. Next up, I did get an Hermes leather appointment while I was there, and I did go to all of the Hermes locations, so I will be doing a tell all. It will probably be a 40-minute long video because I have information hot off the streets to share. If you're interested in that, don't forget to subscribe. You can click the little notification bell to see when that video comes up next, but it will be juicy and we've got bags to show. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.